Hey Merfolk! So today you're going to get ready with me to, I don't know, whatever I'm going to do today. Anyone else get stressed out about having too many options? Whenever I start filming and I tell you that I have no idea what I'm doing, it's because I have about 10,000 different options in my head and I can't decide which one to do. And I think that's kind of stupid because I can always go with one and I can do all of the other options later. I mean, it's not like this is going to be the last video that I film for the rest of my life. But it kind of seems like that because every time I post a video onto YouTube, you never really know if I'm actually going to come back. But I always do. Might be months later, but I always do. And I'm here now. And hopefully I will continue to be here. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not good with consistency. So since I've been away for a while, I thought it would be interesting to fill you in on my current everyday skin routine. It's very, very barefaced. It's kind of in the same vein as what you've seen me do recently, where I don't wear any foundation and I just kind of spot conceal. When I do wear foundation, I use my MAC Face and Body, which is my favorite foundation for every capacity. And when I don't wear foundation, I've been using like 3 concealers because I'm extra, and please don't think that you need to use 3 concealers. One of my favorite parts of doing makeup is skin, and I really do enjoy the finish that using these 3 concealers gives me, so that's what I do. My skin is already prepped with my skincare routine, so I'm just going to go in. So the first concealer that I like to use is my Clarins Instant Concealer in the shade 2. This one is slightly darker than my skin, very slightly, and the shade is very peachy. So the reason that I like this concealer is not just because of the formula, but I personally really like this particular shade on my skin tone and skin tones similar to mine because it's very peachy, but it's not like super orange, so it really blends well into my skin, and it does a little bit of color correcting. And the formula of this has really good coverage, and it's also very emollient, which does not dry my under eyes out, and it allows me to wear practically any concealer that I want over top. So I use like the smallest amount on the darkest part of my under eyes, which are a little bit bluey purple, and the peachiness of this concealer really nicely counteracts the blueness under my eyes without being too intense. Color correcting with something that is already in the color family of a skin tone usually really helps with not having to go with something that is super full coverage over top, which is what I see done a lot on YouTube, and it kind of counteracts the purpose of color correcting, which is to be able to use lighter coverage. And now I'm going to go in with my second concealer, which is the Glossier Stretch Concealer in the shade 10. This one is slightly lighter than my skin tone, so it's really going to give me the highlighted look that I'm looking for. And it's also kind of a light to medium coverage. It's super dewy and beautiful, so I really enjoy it. So I'm just going to dab this on top of my cheeks, meeting up to my under eye, but not going directly under my eyes. And as you can see, it's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, but not like super, super light. But it is going to give me the brightness that I'm looking for. And I like to take it a little bit around my chin and a little bit on my forehead as well. Just a light layer, honestly. And I go in with my favorite foundation brush. This is the Zoeva 110 Face Shape Brush. And I blend this in. And while I'm blending, that's when I start bringing it up to my under eyes. And now I go in with a third concealer, and for that I use my Dermacool makeup cover. This is not exactly a foundation and it's not exactly a concealer. It's just a very, very full coverage product that you can use however you want. I use it to spot conceal any blemishes and pigmentation that I have around my face. Apparently, my return to my teenagehood did not stop at my Japan trip, or the fact that I actually shaved my eyebrows about a month ago. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that. But also, I have been breaking out like crazy. The situation is a lot better now because I have kind of managed to get it somewhat under control, but they keep coming back. It's also all over my chest, all over my back. It's ridiculous. I'm assuming this is some sort of age-related body change, and I'm probably going to have to start taking supplements or something. I don't know. So this, you might have seen before, I take like the smallest amount from the cap, and that is what I use to conceal all of the things. And I'm just very lightly blending over top of everything. I'm sorry if I'm over-explaining everything. I just thought it would be interesting for a change for you to know exactly why I do the things that I do. I don't know what I'm going to do with my makeup, so I'm kind of stalling. And to finish off the first phase of the skin, I'm going to highlight using a cream highlighter by Rituel de Fille. This one is in the shade Phosphine, and it's a very interesting shade. It has a very red undertone, but it's not dark at all. It's very warm and delicious, and if it looks dirty on camera, I am sorry. And I'm just going into that with my Illamasqua Il 230 brush. I have been liking highlighting before I do everything else because I can kind of brush it into my eyes too. Hopefully you can see the warmth coming through. I also take it very lightly on my nose, my Cupid's bow, and my chin. For the eyes, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do, but I do know that I want to use one of my Kiko eyeshadow sticks. These have become a staple in my makeup routine. I use them as primer and bases for like every single look that I do, or almost every look that I do. I use them to create shapes around my eyes, and I love the color selection. And the thing is, Kiko is discontinuing most of the colors. Actually all of them except for the black, and they have introduced a few other shades into the mix. They've just replaced all of these shades with these very shimmery metallic ones. And it's not just a smaller color selection, but they've also removed all of my favorites altogether and my favorite finish altogether, which were the matte and the slightly satiny ones down here. This burgundy one is gone and it's never coming back, and it breaks my heart because it's one of my absolute favorites. I did buy backups of some of the shades, but it really breaks my heart, and I kind of need to figure out how to create my own makeup line because I need a product like this in my life. I'm going to have to break a lot of makeup habits once I'm out of these eyeshadow sticks. I understand that they aren't the most popular items, but it really makes me sad that they are so underappreciated when they are such a great product. So I guess just for the feels, I am going to use my Kiko eyeshadow stick in burgundy. This is in the number 37. I believe they are still available for purchase, the older shades, so if you are interested in stocking up, now is the time because they will be gone. So I'm just gonna draw a line like so, coming from the bridge of my nose. See, these make this kind of stuff so easy, and they're smudge proof and waterproof, and it's a great product. And I'm taking this MAC 228 brush, And I'm very softly just using this to blur the edges and also manipulate the shape of this cream into what I want before it sets. I can also take some directly from the stick. I'm kind of following the shape of my socket, but kind of not at the same time. Just creating a comma shape on my inner corner. Now directly from my stick, I'm going to take it under my eyes. Again, focusing it mostly on the outer corner and making it slightly thinner toward the inner corner. And using my little brush to shape this into chameleon. I'm kind of taking it around the outer corner, almost as if it's embracing the outer edge of my eye. And I'm not particularly fond of how the inner corner turned out, so I'm just taking a cotton bud. These are from Muji, the very tiny sling cotton buds. I'm kind of erasing that, but also kind of blending it out. And I'm going to bring the outer corner upwards slightly, just making it into more of a flattering shape. At least in my head, this shape feels a little bit more flattering. So now I'm going to try and do the same thing that I did on this side, and I'm going to be right back. Okay, so this is as symmetrical as it's going to look because my eyes are painfully different from each other. Now, just to make the overall look of this a little bit more smooth, I am going to go over top with eyeshadows and hopefully create a little bit more dimension. I'm going to start by going in with this shade from Cosette. This is Garnet or Garnet, however English speakers say that word. I honestly don't know. And I'm going to use this same small shader brush from MAC, and I'm going to pack this over top. And I'm not going to take this all the way through because I think I'm going to go in with a deeper shade just on that point there. But I am going to pack this on right on the lid and outer corner of my bottom comma. And I'm using this powder and my little brush to lightly blend the edges because I'm trying to create a little bit of a shape where I have a lot of folds and creases. So keeping the edges more blended in this area here is very helpful to the overall appearance of this look. Now I am going to go with this Nabla eyeshadow in Mimesis, and I'm going to take the smallest, tiniest, littlest brush in the world from Hakuhodo, and I am going to define the pointier edges of this shape. And I realize that this looks absolutely ridiculous right now, but you need to trust the process as I am trusting the process. So I'm going to take the thinnest part of this brush to create a little point, and also using a Q-tip. And I'm also using this shade to create a little bit of a gradient. And the reason I haven't done my eyebrows yet, and I might regret that decision, is so that I could go as high up as I wanted with my shape and I can build my eyebrows around it. The problem is I can't go that much higher with my brows, so I might end up ruining the shape that I created while drawing in my eyebrows, but I will deal with those problems later. The greatest thing about this look is that I am getting ready right now to go to the cafe near my house. But that is okay because I am no stranger to arriving to places looking completely over made up and overdressed. That is fine. And I'm doing the same thing on the under eye, but now I am taking this darker shade from the inner corner onto the middle of my eyeball. And I'm also extending it into a little bit of a point on the inner corner here. So I haven't primed my actual lid whatsoever. And the eyeshadow that I used by Cosette, the sparkly Garnet one, does tend to crease a little bit on a bare lid. So it's giving me this slightly wet effect on my outer corners, which I don't want to get rid of completely, but I don't want the oils from my lids to ruin this makeup any further. So I'm going to take some translucent powder. This is just my RCMA No Color powder, and I'm going to dust a small amount of this onto my lid. And while I am here, I am going to just powder the center of my face. I don't know why I said it like that. And the center of my forehead, which always needs a little bit of powdering because I have a lot of texture here, and making this area a little bit less shiny makes it less evident. What I also like to do, and that I do always, is powder my brow area. I either powder my brow area, or I blot the excess oil from my brow area, or I do both before I actually go in and do my brows, because I barely have any brows as it is, and if I don't make sure that that area is very, very matte, my brow products just don't hold, no matter how long lasting they are. So that is the one area of my face that I like to keep completely moisture free. Everything else can be completely drenched in oil that I don't really care. I feel fabulous always. You've seen me do my brows many times, so I will be doing them off camera also, because I think I need to be very concentrated considering the shape that is right under my brows. I am, as usual, going to use my Nabla Brow Pot in Uranus and my Zoeva Winged Liner Brush, which is my favorite brow brush of life. Okay, so the eyebrows are done. This is kind of how I solved the problem, or how I solve most of my eyebrow problems when I'm not shaving them, which is connecting the brow to the actual shape on the eye. I think I'm going to add a little bit of extra sparkle into this look, and for that I'm going to go in with Alchemy by Nabla, which is a very beautiful duochrome from burgundy to a light blue teal sort of color. And I'm going to pack this right here, and I am actually bringing that a little bit into the outer corner of the eye, not all the way, just kind of between the outer corner and the actual lid. And I honestly have no idea whether I like this look or not, but this is what we got today. And for a change, I'm actually going to apply a little bit of mascara. I am using the L'Oreal Volume Paradise Ecstatic whatever mascara. For blush, I'm going to go in with another cream from Rituel de Fille. This one is in the shade Delirium, and I'm going to use the same brush that I used for my highlight, and I'm going to go directly on the apple of my cheek. And lately I have been very much into either going all out on the eyes or the lips. Honestly, I don't think that this is like a makeup rule. I don't really believe in those things. If you have been following me for a while, you do know that I love a good full-on everything. I love bold eyes and bold lips at the same time. But my aesthetic is becoming more and more stripped down and just focusing on interesting shapes and colors and keeping everything else very minimum. I'm very bored with the current mainstream aesthetic where everything has to be done to the absolute most. I like things a little bit worn, a little bit smudgy, a little bit incomplete. Right now, I feel like we need to start cutting off steps from our makeup routines. Human beings aren't plastic, and there's a lot of beauty in things that are a bit raw and a little bit messed up. Yeah, that was a very long explanation as to why I am not going to apply any lipstick right now. I am just going to put on a little bit of lip balm because I need to. I actually thought I was done, but I am not. I'm going to take a liquid lipstick, not for my lips, but for my eyes. This is the Sephora lip stain in the shade 14, and it's a very nice burgundy shade. I don't believe that Sephora lip stains are eye safe. I am not sure, but I use them on my eyes all the time and I don't care. Nothing ever happened. They just look great. So do this at your own risk. I am not recommending that you use non-eye safe stuff on the eyes. I am just telling you that I do. You can do whatever you want with your makeup. I'm just here to inspire. And I'm going to roughly bring this onto my socket, like so. And I'm doing this directly from the wand because it's not going to give me like a lot of precision. And I am going to also bring some of that on the inner part and take a Q-tip to kind of mess it about. It's still not my favorite look that I've ever done, but I do like it better and I had fun creating it. I do like being free to explore and just, you know, change things up as I feel. This is usually how I come up with my looks on Instagram. I just sit down and play around with stuff and whatever happens, happens, you know? And that's usually how I work the best. Sometimes being on camera and having to explain every single thing that I'm doing stresses me out slightly, but I also do like to talk to you guys and talk you through what I'm doing because those are the kind of videos that I like to watch and I like to learn, so I like to teach whenever I can, if you know what I mean. This is probably going to be a long video because I feel like I have talked so much. But, you know, when I've been gone for a while and then I come back, I feel like I need to talk a lot just to warm up to the camera. I hope that's okay with you. These are my favorite videos to make anyway, so I'm going to go get dressed and do my hair and I will be right back to say goodbye. Okay, so this is the final look. I hope you somewhat like this and this video, and if you did, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I did do my hair. I know that it doesn't look like I have, but it happened. As per usual, there will be a list in the description box with every single product used in this tutorial, as well as links to all of my social media if you'd like to follow me there. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day and I will see you next time. Bye!